start, you're going to make a chain of your desired length that will go along the top of your chest, so it will act as the very top of the piece. Just make sure that it is an even number of chains. Then hold the spot from your very last chain, chain 2, to act as the first double crochet, and then double crochet in each chain all the way down to the end of the piece. So by the time you get to the end, you should have an odd number of double crochets. And keep double crocheting and continue that to the end of that chain. So now we're going to start expanding, so chain 2 and do 1 double crochet in that same chain 2 space, and then we're going to start by making the gaps. So chain 1, and we're going to skip the next stitch and go into the one after it and doing a double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch and do a double crochet in the one after it. Chain 1, skip that stitch and do a double crochet, and do that all the way to the end, remembering that there is 2 double crochets in the last one. So when you finish that, this is what it should look like. So we're 2 double crochets together at the beginning, the spaces, and then 2 double crochets together at the end. So starting on the next row, chain 2, 1 double crochet in that same stitch again, then next double crochet in the next stitch, and this one's just going to be a copy of the last row. So we chain 1, double crochet in that double crochet space from the previous row, and just repeating that. So chain 1, skip that single chain space, and then double crochet in the next space. And then at the end, you'll do 2 double crochets in the last stitch. For the third row, we chain 2, and this time we're going to do 2 double crochets in that same stitch. 1, 2. Then double crochet until you get to the space. And this time we're going to start making that inverted triangle shape. So we double crochet into that chain 1 space instead. Then we chain 1, skip the double crochet below, and double crochet into the chain 1 space again. And we just keep doing that to the end. And then in the last stitch, this time we're going to do 3 double crochets because we did that at the beginning. For the fourth row, chain 2, and this time we're just doing 1 double crochet in that same stitch. Then double crochet along, and this row is going to be another copy row. So we're doing a copy of the previous row. So this time we chain 1 over the chain 1 and double crochet in the double crochet space. And then 2 double crochets in the last stitch. The next row, chain 2 and 1 double crochet in that same space. Then crochet along. And this time we're inverting it, so we do 1 in the chain 1 space. Then chain 1 and do it into the next chain 1 space. and doing that all the way along. Like so. So there'll be one in there, and then 2 in the last stitch. Next row, chain 2, and this time, because it's our third expander row, we're doing 2 double crochets in that first space. Then crochet along. And this row is going to be a copy row. So we're just replicating the previous row by chaining 1 over the chain 1 space and double crocheting in the double crochet space. So that'll be double crochet, and then 3 double crochets in the end. And I'm just going to show one more row, so chain 2, this time it'll just be 1 double crochet in the first stitch, crochet along, and then this row we're going inwards, so double crochet in that chain 1 space, then chain 1, and so on. I've just skipped to the end there, just to show you. Then crochet along, and it'll be 2 double crochets in the last space. So basically we're going to be alternating between an inward row and a copy row, just backwards and forwards. And then remember, every third row that you do is a large expander, so you do 2 double crochets in the first same stitch and then 3 in the end. And as you keep going, it'll start looking like this. And around this time, or whatever time, you'll get to a point where you won't need to expand anymore because it'll be big enough to fit around your breast area. And so this time we start expanding and we just chain 2 and then not go into the same stitch but go into the next stitch to do our double crochets. And this could happen at any point in your individual piece. And then with this, when we get to the end, it'll just be 1 double crochet in the last stitch. So no more expanding after a certain point where you'll find it fits across to your chest. And here I'm just showing you that again. And then the end again. Just 1 in the last stitch. And then we just continue crocheting along, and here I'm just going to show you how to go across. When you get to the very last part of the triangle, you just simply crochet along that space and continue doing rows, and it should end up with this straight edge on one side. And here I've come to the end of the piece, and you can see I've done this one little detail row. So I'll zoom in and show you how to do that. It's basically just the same as what we're doing at the top. So 1 normal double crochet, chain 1, skip that space, double crochet, chain 1, and so on all the way to the end. So you can make your piece as long as you want. I've just made it quite short, but you can make it down to that length or whatever else. So now our job is to make the side bit that wraps around your back. So when you get to the end, don't fasten off, chain 2, and we're going to single crochet up to where we stopped expanding. So I'll just show you that. Just single crocheting in random spaces along the edge. And make sure you remember how many you did, because you're going to have to do the same amount of single crochets on the other side, so it's even. So now that we're up to the edge, we turn it around. This time we don't do any chain ones. So no chain ones, skip that first space into the second space, single crochet back down to the bottom. When we get down to the bottom, we chain one, then crochet back up to the top. And remember to go into the very last stitch at the top there, turn around, skip that first space, put it into the next space with no chain ones, crochet back down. When you get to the bottom, you chain one, and so on, and just keep repeating that, and eventually you get this triangle shape. And from the very end, you just do single crochets. Then to do the top strap, I just slip stitch in and do a long chain. And that is the end of the tutorial. So if you guys have any requests for new tutorials or any questions, leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.